When I was 16, oh my god, every time I talk about, my whole secondary school life, I just get so emotional because so much shit happened. So hey guys, I'm turning 24 in about 2 weeks, and I guess this is one of the reasons why I started looking back on all the things that happened to me over the last couple of years, and I can't believe it took me 8 freaking years to finally have the courage to talk about something that has bothered me for so long. I failed my O-Level exams. So 8 years ago, I was 16 years old. I was handed a slip of paper around this time, which I thought would determine the way my life would be, but it didn't. What it did was, it changed the way I thought about and looked at things. I definitely did not expect myself to do really well, but what I least expected was performing that badly. Growing up in an Asian household, I'm sure many of you can relate to me when I say that my parents were constantly worried about how my life would turn out if I didn't perform well academically. Of course, every family is different and there are exceptions, but speaking for the majority of Asian or Singaporean population, I think we are pretty dependent on our parents. Most of us actually live with our parents till we get married. Our parents take care of us till we are older. So I guess because of that, we have this unconscious belief that we have to do what our parents want us to do in order to repay them and fulfill the expectations they have of us. I think this has been drilled into our heads by our Asian parents since young, that we have to strive to study hard. We have to study hard so we can get a good job. We have to get a good job so that we can earn enough money, and then we have to earn enough money so we can save money to find a good partner and then settle down and start a family. And only if we follow these steps properly and carefully will we achieve success. So ultimately, it creates some sort of reliance we have on our parents to know exactly what to do with our lives. Therefore, we feel guilty whenever we don't achieve the goals they set out for us, which makes us think that we are doomed to failure if our life doesn't go according to their plan. Growing up, in my eyes, my parents were successful, which kind of gave me the impression that their advice was always right. Sort of. I mean, even if I didn't agree, I felt compelled to believe that my grades would decide how people would look at me in the future. And I think a lot of Asians perform well in school, not necessarily because they are smarter, but because I think our parents overwork us at home. The moment my mom sees me at home, it's not like, "How's your day, girl?" It's like, "Do you have homework today? Have you finished your homework? The tests are coming out, have you revised?" Okay, jokes aside, I love you, mom. But luckily enough, my dad being in the creative industry himself, he has always been a little more receptive and supportive of my craft. But still, he's that Asian dad that will go like, "I think at the end of the day, you still need a degree. In case anything goes wrong, at least you have something to fall back on." And because of that, even until today, I still worry about not having a degree, even though I already have a stable job which earns me a pretty good amount of money. So for the last 8 years of my life, I felt sick in the stomach every time someone brings up the O-levels conversation in a group. To be honest, I feel really guilty just thinking about having to lie to everyone about how I fared, but I just do so anyway without hesitation because I want to avoid embarrassment, I don't want to be laughed at, I don't want to be mocked at, and mainly because I didn't know how they would react and I didn't know how to cope with their reaction as well. I was never the top student of my class back in secondary school, but my results were pretty decent, I would say. I actually remember those days, oh my god, I feel like crying. I actually remember those days where my parents felt proud of me. I received many medals for the school activities that I took part in. I would give them a call back every time I received positive results when I got back my report slip. And yeah, I was actually a good daughter. I think one of the reasons why I constantly associated how adequate I was to how well I was performing in school because of how much emphasis Asian parents place on maintaining a good impression in front of others. They care way too much about what others think of their child. They value their face, 面子, a lot. And in case you're not familiar with the term 面子 or face, it usually means one's dignity or pride. And I think it's also because of the constant comparisons. My parents would comparing me with someone else's grades, whether it's my friends, my cousins. At age 15, I took out my first advertorial on my blog back then and earned my first sum of money. It wasn't much, but it made me feel really happy because one, I felt like I could finally save up for some of the things that I really wanted that my parents wouldn't get for me. And two, I could stop taking money from my parents. Of course, the sole purpose of it isn't as failure as it sounds. Back then, the idea of earning my own money equates to being free from my parents and that I didn't have to listen to them anymore. But sadly, that wasn't the case. My parents felt like what I did was not sustainable since it was unconventional, unreliable, and it was also very risky to them. When I was 16, oh my god, every time I talk about my whole secondary school life, I just get so emotional because so much shit happened. So at 16, while most of my peers while most of my peers were focusing on their studies and preparing for our final exams, I had half my mind into my life outside of school. I was distracted. I slept during classes, I skipped school, I missed remedial lessons, and I was also dealing with depression. I didn't have many friends. I was always in toxic relationships. And what's worse was that I had my entire life on social media where everything was free for people to see and talk about. Growing up, I always felt really alone. Not just because I'm the only child, but because, like I said, I didn't have that many friends, and boys that age really couldn't be trusted. There was so much pressure coming from my parents to do well in school. At such a young age, you feel like you have little to no control over the things you want to do, and you feel like you're not capable of making your own decisions. So the only way to get through life is to go as planned. So yeah, it was a tough process. Ever since I took the leap of faith after failing my O-levels to start on this journey, I have never once regretted. Although I can't deny that there were many occasions where I wondered where will all these lead me to, whether it's worth it, whether I should just drop everything and go back to school whenever things are not going well for me. I think the toughest times are when you have to fight battles alone and no one believes in you, because that happened to me. Everyone was skeptical. My parents, my family members, my friends. After failing my O-level exams, I took a long break in between to explore different things I wanted to do. I started investing a lot more time and money into YouTube and social media, which was something that was totally unheard of 6 to 8 years ago. What is social media marketing back then, right? And I did all of this not knowing it would be this big today. I didn't know that, I would actually earn a stable income from it. I did all of this only because it was my passion. Throughout this period, I also secretly yearned to prove myself wrong, that I was actually capable of achieving more after that single failure from my O-levels. I actually went into business management for the arts in Nanyang Academy School of Arts. I took my diploma, obtained a 3.9 GPA, and along with it, I got a scholarship as well. After 3 years of constant hard work, everything paid off. I managed to enter a local U, which was what my parents wanted for me. I was 20 by the time I graduated from school, and I'll be lying if I said I knew what I wanted immediately, because I didn't. I took a really long time to decide if I wanted to, further my studies, if I really needed a degree, if it was something I really wanted to do. I weighed the pros and cons and finally came to a conclusion and decided to forgo this opportunity of pursuing my degree, because I knew that I wasn't ready to give my 100% to school when half my heart was to chase my dreams. And I'm sure, just like many of you, there were many breaking points. There were so many nights where I cried myself to sleep. It wasn't easy. There was so much self-doubt. uncertainty, fear of what may or may not happen, of what the future may turn out to be, but I persevered. And that's what I urge all of you to do, to persevere and to not give up. And I'm sure there will be many other moments where you'll feel lost, you'll be unsure if this is what you want in life. But I guess that's the point, because we will never know. We'll never be 100% sure of what's going to happen tomorrow until it happens. I'm extremely thankful for all the trust and support I've earned from my parents over the years. I don't think I'll be where I am now if it wasn't for them, if they didn't choose to take the leap of faith like I did. The Naomi 8 years ago would have never dreamed of having the life she has now. It would be almost impossible to think that I would be financially stable in my early 20s, have a loving family and a son that I endear, and also a strong following on social media, which makes me relatively successful today. I've never been more proud of my own achievements, and I owe this to many of you who have supported me throughout these years. Some of you will probably feel the way I felt, or even worse, but I want you to know that it's okay to feel disheartened. It's okay to feel like you've let the world down even though they believed in you. Give yourself a few days, a few weeks, but don't let it take over you. If there's anything I want all of you to take away from today's video, is that just because you failed in an exam or did badly, it's not the end of the world. And on top of that, I want you to remember that no matter what happens, always move forward. I made the choice to do something 8 years ago which I strongly believed in, even though all the odds were stacked against me. Even those closest to me had little faith in me, and if any of the things that I did was worth it, even until today. But it's okay. It's important to note that not all risks are worth pursuing. It's not wrong to have a little more faith in yourself and have courage to do something you feel strongly for, even if it's not something expected of you. Everyone is different in their own way, so much that what may work for me may not work for you, vice versa. I hope those of you watching this today, and especially those who are taking your results tomorrow, to really take some time out to think about the path you wish to pursue, to weigh your risk, and know that this is not the end but the start of something bigger. If you're going through the same situation as I did years ago, you are not alone. I was once in your position, but here I am today. I wish all of you nothing but the best, and I will see you guys soon. Bye! Okay, so I have my O-Level certificate in my hands right now, and it's just so funny because I had such a hard time. Okay, wait, not me. My mom had such a hard time trying to search for this, which goes to show how little this means to us. Yeah, we are obviously very unbothered by this freaking certificate because we don't even know like where it is, and I obviously don't even remember my grades. So this is the first time in years that I'm looking at it. Okay, so these are my grades, in case any of you are curious. I'm not sure if you can see. In case you can't see it, I got a C for everything, a D for humanities because I'm inhuman, and E for mathematics. So yeah, it was really bad, like terrible. I think I actually slept through one of my papers. I didn't even try. So yup, that's the end.